Sure. Okay. Well, this is great because it leads right into the next question. When you took on this philosophy of the mastermind, or when you started to, really like focus on what you had already been doing, but you had confirmation through the book. What were your challenges? What were some of the challenges that you had to overcome? Did you just go full force, jet set right into everything you wanted to do, or did you have those challenges of dealing with people who may not totally understand what you're about, even with the clarity of the mastermind group principle? How did you overcome those challenges, if you had any? Because maybe it was just.
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and there were challenges, and for me, a lot of it was, being able to open myself up to reach out and make and create the right alliances and relationships that were necessary for me, to bring this concept and this idea to life. But then at the same time, because of the nature of this, which is a very profound and powerful principle, I had a difficult time finding people who could grasp it the way that I grasped it, and, who could understand, the principles that, I was living and that I was practicing, because there are a lot of folks who have a short-term benefit, perspective or mindset, when you're trying to attract people to work in your organization, and to get people to buy into a system. It's kind of like, I had the pleasure of, being around Phil Jackson a lot, and I was with the Bulls during championship runs, and at their practices and in the locker room, and I would hear how Phil Jackson got people to buy into that triangle offense and that theory, and it really takes a great deal of patience, and it takes a great understanding of human behavior to be able to identify people and meet them where they are, and at the same time get them to buy into something that you believe in, that you value, and that you ultimately know will be successful. So I had to challenge myself to be a better coach, to be a better leader and a better manager, to be able to take something that I've lived, and that is very germane to my business model and my approach, and get people to react to it in the same way. And one of the first things I did was, from people that I worked with, that I hired, including my clients, my first gift to all of them was Think and Grow Rich. And I would tell some younger folks who approached me about internships and other things, I'd tell them to read the book and then call me in 30 days. After they had read the book and after they understood it, and when we could really begin to build effectively from the same place, and really understand it. So it required a great deal of patience and a great deal of understanding of human behavior, and really how to encourage people, to understand and see your perspective and advance your goals, because the best leaders don't create followers, they create leaders, and that's been something that I've always, focused on, because it's easy to know what you know and do what you do, but if you can't get people to believe in it and buy into it in a way that they can become just as passionate and purposeful about it, then you're not practicing the principle itself, because it takes that coordination and expansion into infinite knowledge for you to ultimately become successful.
Well, you answered my last two questions with respect to Think and Grow Rich, one of which was how do you give this philosophy to others, your clients, your co-workers, if you have any employees, etc. So you answered that by saying that you give them the book, you share with them the principles, and it is about patience. I've learned that in my own practice with this philosophy. And then the second question that you pretty much answered was the whole thing of, if you had one of Napoleon Hill's philosophies that really, 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 really stuck out as the most important one, which one would that be? And I would have to say it's the Mastermind Alliance.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I would agree with that. And one of the other things I wanted to say too is timing, awareness of time, and timing is something that was a challenge too, because being able to recognize when things are being ordered and organized according to your energy and your thoughts, that has all the difference in the world. And when you're operating in alignment, with that timing, and when you're applying your thoughts and your ideas and your energy, and you're putting that out in the universe at a time where it can receive the appropriate increase, that's ultimately the key, because we can have a lot of ideas, and as a true master, the one thing that I have learned is a true master is always ahead of their time. So the thoughts and the ideas that you come up with and that you develop are always ahead of where time is. So you're always in a position where you're trying to get people to advance from where they are to get to where you are.
Sure.
And a lot of times the timing is not the most appropriate timing to do so, because they may be stuck in a perspective on where the market is, or where their product should be, or where their brand should be. So as a master, you always reach that point where you align your thoughts and your energy with the right time, when you know you're able to give it the increase that you need to give it, and not to walk away also from your ideas and strategies at a time where they may not be appropriate, when they may not be primed to go into the universe and receive that embrace and that increase, because you just may be a little bit ahead of your time. So you have to be aware enough to recognize, your unique thoughts and ideas, but at the same time to also be aware of the timing and understand if it is the most appropriate, time for those thoughts, to become, real. Hang on one second.